Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting in-person insights. Today, we are going to talk about study habits and all different kinds of interesting things that will help make you a successful college student. I am joined here today with my co-host Raquel. Raquel, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Have you ever wondered what it takes to become a successful college student? What separates those that do well academically and those that don't? Well, the good thing is you don't have to wonder anymore because in today's episode, we're going to go over some of the top study habits of successful college students. What do you think some of those habits are? Let us know in the comments.
I think a really good habit is watching things like this.
Yeah, right?
You really want to set yourself up for success? Watch in person. We got you. Okay, great. So we're going to go ahead and just get into it. Remember, these are habits, so they take time to be able to acquire. The things that we're offering are really, really like strong suggestions in our own experiences. They worked for us. You can take all this information and cultivate it to however it works for you, just as long as you get the base of it all. So, everybody has a different learning style. We're going to have the way we acquire habits is going to be different for everybody. So, Raquel, please take it off and let us know what are our top 2 study habits.
Yeah, so the first one is organize your study time.
Hmm.
So at this point in time, not all of us are just students. Some of us work. Some of us have family life to balance. Some of us have quite a bit of things. So one of the things that I absolutely love to do, and I still do it to this day, and this is something that you can use too and take with you, is I love to buy planners. So I am that person that has colored pins and highlighters and I plan out my day, I plan out my week. I like to put what my to-do lists are on there. So I absolutely love that. And that makes me very excited and happy to use.
That is so dedicated. The colored pens and the highlighters, that is dedication.
But I know not everybody's like that. Nowadays, people want technology. They want to use the new things. They don't want to carry around planners like I like to, which is perfectly okay. You can use a calendar app. You can use a productivity app. You can use pretty much anything that you find that works best for you. Just recommendation is to do your research and find the one that actually does work best for you and that you absolutely love. But from there, once you have decided on what you want to use, I was that person that first week of class, I would grab all of my syllabuses and write all my due dates in my planner. So any assignments, any quizzes, any exams, any projects, etc.
Wow.
And that actually brings me to our next kind of habit, which I like to put at, say, 1.5 habit, because it ties into organize your study habits, which is to create a study schedule. Once you have all your due dates in your planner, you want to set time aside to be able to actually work on those assignments, study for those quizzes, study for those exams. And the only way that you're going to be able to help yourself do that is by setting blocks of time during the week to remind yourself when you should be doing that, when will work best for you on top of everything else that you have to balance. A key thing to understand when you're setting up your study schedule is to understand your sleep habits. Know when you're most awake, know when you're most alert. I'm a morning person, so I like to go to bed at like 9 at nighttime.
Yep.
Some of you don't, which is perfectly okay. I like to wake up early in the morning and start planning my day out an hour or so before I start doing anything. That's me. Once again, you need to figure out and you need to realize when are those times that you're most awake, most alert, and set a good sleep habit for yourself to be able to properly study and organize your time. Because a key thing here to understand and to try is to stick to your schedule as much as possible.
Yeah.
Things happen. We can't control everything.
We can.
I know, it's not a shocker. But yes, we can't control everything. So perfectly okay if you get sidetracked. Just remember to get back into your habit so you can continue moving forward with that. Because an important thing for all of this is so you don't cram. Cramming doesn't work, right, Bianca? Does not.
Does not.
As much as we
work.
think and we hope that it doesn't. You're not able to retain information when you cram. So stick to your study schedule habits, stick to your time that you've organized, and this will help you move forward in completing all of those assignments, getting good grades, and actually retaining information that you have learned.
Right. I totally agree with Raquel. I mean, it took me some time to get into that, to actually allocate time, time inception, to be able to, plan things ahead. But taking that little bit of time ahead of time really does prevent a lot of burnout and crashing at the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't go as hard as color pens and highlighters. I hope one day that I, ascend to that level. But like I do make sure to write things down now because I will forget. My attention span is literally like 7 seconds. So like I have to write it down right away or it's just out of there.
Yeah.
So being able to have that schedule already written and done is like, oh, now I just look at it and I thank myself later every single time.
Yeah. And the nice thing is you don't have to just rely on one sort of device. I also use my calendar app to pretty much put my block times that I'm going to study and work on assignments in there. And I would purposely share that to my friends and family members so that they know when my study schedule is and they kind of leave me alone until after or before. So then they know that I'm focused on that time.
Right. I like that idea too because you'd be able to like plan something really nice for yourself afterwards, like ice
Yeah.
cream. After I study, I'm gonna eat this ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get more into that a little later. But our next tip right now is about asking for study help. I don't know about any of you, but when I was a much younger, more novice Bianca, it was really difficult for me to ask for help. Part of it was watching my peers around me. I'm like, oh my God, they understand this. I don't get this. What's wrong with me? Type of stuff going on. And then there was also, like, am I bothering this professor or this teacher by taking their time outside of what they've taught, to try to learn what this is? But don't feel like that. It's always, always, always best practice to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
And you should definitely get started now because if you are, let's say it's your first year in college and you're not working a full-time job, when you do get to work, these are questions that you would want to ask people at your job. Like this is stuff that you're going to use for the rest of your life. So make sure to check your syllabus. We're going to bring up that syllabus word again. On your syllabus, it has everything you need to really like bring these habits to life, to really be able to continue on with these action steps. So check what time the professor has office hours. A lot of professors give different office hours. So you want to make sure that if that is something that you need extra assistance on, that you can schedule that and it aligns with the professor's schedule as well. Some professors would prefer you to email them so they can schedule office hours. That can also be found on the syllabus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that syllabus is amazing. I mean, my syllabus by the end of the year, I'm sure yours is like in pristine condition. Mine looks like it went through a train wreck, but I mean, I still have it and it still looks good. Thank God everything's online now. So also many colleges offer peer tutoring, like different sections, like places you can go on campus or even online where you can talk to a tutor that could be your peer, like another college student, or maybe volunteers that come in who are, really good at a particular subject. So make sure to utilize those resources, and they are always free. And also, finally, look around your class, see if there's anybody who is that you feel like really understands this, and go ahead and reach out and be like, hey, can you explain this to me? I'm totally lost. I mean, I do that to Raquel now. So, being able, like, the way we hear things and the way we receive things is different for everybody. So, like, maybe you weren't able to receive what the professor was saying at that time. You've gone to office hours, you've done these things. Maybe going to a peer and having one of your peers be able to explain it to you in a different way could be helpful. So those are my tips for finding study help. Now we're going to go into my favorite topic.
I think it's both of our favorite topic.
I know. I wish we could just talk about this all the time, but we got to get things done. So our final habit that we really, really want everybody to practice for a successful academic future is to practice self-care.
Mm-hmm.
And you might be thinking to yourself, what does that have to do with me being an all-star academic person? Well, it has a lot to do with it. Holistically, wholly, like, we have to show up for ourselves in all different kinds of ways. So in order to show up for ourselves in our education or at work, wherever it may be, we have to make sure to take time to decompress and practice self-care. I know, like, it could be difficult sometimes with pressing schedules to take that time and be like, hey, I'm going to take this hour in the middle of my workday and 12 deadlines, or in the middle of my 5 essays that I'm writing right now. But it's really important to be able to take that hour to kind of like defrag your brain. So I'm going to go ahead and ask all of you out there in the world, how do you practice self-care? Like, what are some best tips that you practice self-care? We're dying to hear. How about you, Raquel? What are some ways that you practice self-care?
So for me, I have quite a few because it honestly depends on how I'm feeling, what I'm up to, what's going on in my life at that time. But one of the things that I like to do is practice my makeup. So I love makeup, and it honestly relaxes me and helps me whenever I need a little pick me up to help me feel better about myself.
Yeah.
So during those times and moments, I actually practice looks that I've never done before, or I practice and use makeup that is new to me.
Nice.
So I love that. Relaxes me and it calms me down since I'm so focused on doing that. A
Keeps you in
second
the
thing,
moment, right? Like, kind of keeps you in the moment. You're just like in a meditative state, putting on this eyeliner.
it does, yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
So yeah, it's amazing for me.
Right.
Another thing I like to do is I like to read. So same with self-care. I like to read a variety of different genres. I like to read fiction. I like to read nonfiction. There are times that I have anywhere between 2 to 3 books going at the same time. But yeah, I just set a few minutes aside for myself. I grab my dog and I just sit on the sofa with her.
Yeah.
And as I'm petting her and giving her attention, I'm reading and I'm feeling relaxed just because I'm doing 2 things that I love to do. I have my dog and I'm reading something that I'm interested in, or it's taken me to a world that I've never been in before, and I could just imagine it in my head.
Lots of nurturing going on there with the dog and the books. I like that. I like that a lot.
Another thing that I like to do is journal.
Mm.
So I like to write how my life is going, how my day is going, how my week is going. I purposely actually have a self-care journal that has a positive quote on every page.
Love that.
And once you're done writing, it actually has you grade yourself as far as how you're feeling that day, or like how you're feeling after you finish writing that. And just recently, I actually downloaded an app on my phone that it just asks 2 to 3 basic questions, simple questions. What are you grateful for that day? What did you enjoy best that day? And what could you have done different that day? And even just within a few minutes of me typing that up, it has helped me. And I just feel a little bit better about myself just doing that and releasing that. But I think the thing that I enjoy the most is going on walks.
Mm-hmm.
I love nature. I love smelling the fresh trees. When it rains, I love smelling the rain. Um,
We're totally opposite.
yeah.
I can't take the rain. I feel like I'm melting in the rain. I like sunshine.
But and when I go on walks, I purposely leave my phone at home, so I don't get distracted with social media or messages or anything like that. When I do bring my phone with me, is to listen to calm music and meditation music, um, and it's a nice feeling. It's a nice, relaxing feeling that I like.
I love that. Those are some really great tips. The journaling is definitely something. I like that temperature check that you have at the end of it, especially like let's say you had a really pressing day where you had a lot of assignments due or like it was just really busy. That would be really great to kind of check in with yourself and be like, all right, I'm feeling like a C right now. I'm trying to feel like an A. So, like, what could I have done differently to make that happen? Um,
Mm-hmm.
I really like that. That's cool. For me, for self care, I love getting my eyebrows done. I know that sounds crazy, but as far as self care is, like, I do not sit still. So it's really difficult for me to allocate time for self care. Sometimes you'll think, like, oh, I'll just do it later. Later never comes. So you definitely have to be able to allocate that time for self care. Sitting in that eyebrow chair, it's just me and my eyebrow lady. I can't think about anything else because my eyebrows are the gate to my face.
Yeah.
So I need to be able to just kind of sit there. I can't think about what assignments are due because that's not the time for that. In order for me to be able to think about when assignments are due or how I'm going to do it, I needed that 20 minutes in that eyebrow lady's chair to do my eyebrows and not think about it for a while. Another big one for me, I really hate moving my body. But I do find when I go to the gym, when I come back, I feel like my brain is like defragged and I can kind of just come in and really take a look at everything that I have going on. So, for example, one time I was studying for a math final and I was taking some practice exams and I was getting things wrong that I knew the answers to. But I was so tired. I wasn't cramming, Raquel, but I was so tired and I was so just in it for too long that I couldn't see around it. So I went to the gym. I angrily got on a elliptical machine and lifted some weights. Came home, took a shower, and I was able to ace those exams. And I was like, "What's the difference?" And the difference was I went to the gym and defragged my brain and took care of myself for a little bit. Um, and then finally, like I really, really, as far as self care goes, I also have an app. I like to use the Shine app. It was designed by two women of color who, get this, worked for nonprofit, like me and you. So
Yeah.
being able, like that, that's a meaningful thing to me. And being able to utilize all their resources and tools on their apps really reinvigorate me to kind of come back and take a look at all these things that I have to do. Be able to sit down and write down what my schedule is going to be for the next week. When you think that you have so many things going on, it might be hard to like kind of sit down and look at your schedule because you're like, I got to do this first, I got to do that next. And that's just not the case. So these are the tips that we have. We also have some comments. Raquel, you want to read some of them?
Yeah, so Heidi said two of her self care is get enough sleep, which is a big one. That is very important, and read fantasy literature. I am right there with you, Heidi. I absolutely do love that.
Love that profile pic.
Yeah. And then Charles said meditation and mindfulness, which I also love because the app that I use is used purposely for that.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
So thank you for those comments, everybody. Find out what kind of self-care routine works for you. It might be just laying on the sofa and watching Netflix for 2 hours. I'm here for it. whatever works for you to get you into a place where you're not thinking about like what your pressing responsibilities are, you should do that. Your responsibility at that moment should just be you, like your body and your mind. So we definitely want to thank you for coming here and making comments and listening to our amazing habits that you should definitely do. But you can catch us again in 2 weeks on Thursday, November 4th at noon, where we are going to talk about the science of savings for college. Also, make sure to follow us and hit the subscribe button on all of our social media platforms so you never miss an episode and you never miss our beautiful faces. We will go live. We go live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So until next time, everybody, thank you for coming.